Hey Joseph, just want to say it's an absolute pleasure to have you on this call today. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely terrific. It is a pleasure and privilege for me.
Definitely. So let's kick this off in terms of this LMA interview. Firstly, the first question I'll ask you is in terms of, so tell us in terms of your name, where you're currently based, and what you currently do in terms of your occupation.
Joseph Yeager. I reside in the Tampa, Florida area, and I'm a financial consultant.
Nice. And how did you come across my our work online, by the way?
It was a time in my life where I knew I needed change, and I was looking for a self improvement program that would keep me going for life. Because I've been on a self development journey for over 25 years. And as you've said many times, is that there is that enthusiasm up front, and then you fall off when it's over and you go back to your normal self. It's a time in my life where I cannot afford to do that anymore simply because of my state of mind. And so I was watching some motivational videos on YouTube, and there you go. You're sitting in an office looking at your laptop, and you turn around and you start to ask some questions. And it just instantaneously resonated with me. You offered a 2-hour free video that afternoon or the very next day.
So you came across like an advert or something, or?
It was your one of your commercials on YouTube, and then you offered a free 2-hour session
Ah, I see. Okay.
of the philosophy behind LMA. And so I joined that session. It was June 1st,
Right.
and I
Okay.
signed up right away. You made sense, and I signed up. I just said, just do it and see where it takes you. That's how I got into LMA.
So prior to that, did you know who I was, or you came across me for the first time?
First time, never heard of you.
So what made you, so were you, what was the doubt you had before? Because normally before any sort of, I suppose, journey, people have got doubts and so forth. Did you have any form of doubt in terms of that was preventing you from moving forwards?
I would say is that resistance is the best way to describe it. And all the things that I was feeling, I didn't know what to do with them. I was coasting, and a life event caused me to just change everything about my life, move away from everything I knew, and start over. Spending 5 years of doing that, there comes a point where you realize you can't go on the rest of your life this way.
Hmm.
But you also don't want to invest time and energy into something and then fall off. So I knew I needed a change. I didn't know where I'm going to get that change. And you just happened to come across my screen and have a message that just clicked. It just resonated. I was open, I was looking, and here you were. And I said, let's give it a shot.
Okay. I wasn't actually aware you were quite new to my work, as most of the LMA members, they've been subscribed to me for many, many, many months, even many years. Hence why I was asking that question in terms of did you have any doubts or whatsoever. Okay, so just give us a context in terms of what was happening in your life. What was the problem you were experiencing before you joined LMA?
So is it okay if I refer to LMA work to describe what I was feeling? Because it's just so clear and so easy. Is that okay? Or do you want me to just
Do what feels right.
uh,
Go for it. Yeah.
okay, so when you speak about the normal,
Mm.
always talking us back to where we think we are okay. And then when things don't go well, we panic and we work towards that normal. And then when we get there, it's like we let go again. And that's been the story of my life. At age 52, I am healthy. I'm in best shape I've ever been. I have an amazing life. I have everything I need, almost everything I want. And I got too comfortable and complacent in that position. And what wasn't working for me is that it's that one thing about productivity and getting back to the highs of my business success that I just completely forgot how to get to. And so you put a roadmap to do that. And what I liked about what you did was that the one thing I knew before I joined is I said, okay, there is no point in me learning how to be productive again if my mindset is not healthy. So I first need to get my mindset in a position to keep on going, to persevere through that normal voice of mediocrity. And if I can do that, if my mindset is ready to launch forward, anything you throw in front of me, I'll grab onto and take with me and continue. And the LMA work does exactly that. The first 3 weeks, you work on mindset. I was fired up. I understood all the things that I was fighting. I was very clear. I was ready and open. And then when you threw productivity in week 4, I was ready to receive it and run with it. And I have been since. And it's been, the past has been faster and faster in the rearview mirror.
So where was this problem you're describing impacting you the most? Was it in terms of your career?
Yes, my business. I make a good living, but my income has been reduced by about 2/3. Now that's still enough for me to live the lifestyle I want to live, but there is always in the back of my mind, if something really big happened, I'm not ready for it. And I'll work and I'll get again to a good position and I'll get complacent, just like you're saying. I was tired of doing that. And I needed a system that I can hang on to, be part of, and feed off of that will enable me to then maintain that level and keep moving forward. You brought that to the table. I didn't know that when I joined, but I know it now that I've completed at least the theoretical part of it. That's why I signed up to EBA, and that's why I want to continue to be involved as much as I can, because the rewards I've been getting after 7 weeks, imagine for the next 40 to 50 years if I do this. Where will I be then? Sky's the limit. And for the first time through your work, I actually believe it. I never believed it up until now. I actually believe the sky's the limit because of your work.
Wow. Really appreciate that, Joseph. So prior to that, have you tried a lot of stuff? You said you've been in this field for 25 years, studying and so forth, personal development wise. What have you had tried before? Was it courses and stuff, or what did you do?
Well, I grew up with self-development at home because my father had a library full of self-development books. But what's interesting is that I never took to it because I watched his involvement with self-development, and then I watched the results, and they were completely conflicting. So I never bought into it. When I started in the career that I'm in right now, it was completely by accident. I really was looking to be in the medical field, and for circumstances that, other circumstances, I couldn't do that, and therefore this career presented itself as an opportunity for me with not having nothing to start with and no experience. I could actually get into the career. So it wasn't really what I loved, because I'm not someone who is enamored by materialistic things, being a billionaire and all that just for the sake of being a billionaire. I'm someone who just wants to love what he does, and I want to enjoy life. What that kind of gave you is I was struggling financially at the time, and that had the allure of solving that problem. So that career was up and down for 25 years. I have a lot of experience, I have a lot of knowledge, certificates and education and so on and so forth. I still don't have the fulfillment and joy that I'm looking for. So when I started my self-development journey, I started with things like Scientology. I took a lot of courses there, some auditing. I've had private coaches, and either through work where they hired a coach and brought him in and we were involved in a program. And later on, as I was doing financially better, I hired my own, and I spent the money and I made the investment, and the results were there. But the one-on-one thing is great. And then when you stop and I reached the goal, normal again. What you created in self-development is you created something that I've never been a part of, and I've been resisting for the longest time, is the community. So you give us the tools, And then you created a community that brings out the best in everybody that is willing to do the work. And so what I've experienced over the past 6 weeks, I didn't even know I had in me. The person I am in the past 6 weeks is a stranger to me. I love it. It's the person I want to remain, and it's a person I want to build on, but I just didn't know he was there.
Right. What would you say when you joined that webinar and you listened to myself for 2 hours, which is quite long to listen to, what was the biggest resistance you did have then? Was it in terms of, was there a specific thing in the back of your mind that may have stopped you from moving forwards? And what ended up putting that thing to rest and made you say, yes, let's do it?
Well, nothing stopped me from moving forward other than the voice of skepticism.
Okay.
I'm skeptical by nature. I live by 5 agreements, which are: be impeccable with your word, take nothing personally, don't assume anything, always do your best, be skeptical but always willing to listen. Those are the 5 rules, and that's my Bible. So when I listen to you, I'm a self-development junkie. I listen to audiobooks all the time, including Follow Your Heart and Take Action. And every morning, it's part of my morning routine is to listen to an audiobook, even if it's 15 minutes, just to get a good message during the day or to confront something that I need to work on. And so when I came across your commercial, the first instinct was, I'm annoyed because there's a commercial while I'm watching something else.
Right.
But you got to the point very quickly. And what you said hit me quickly. So I joined the seminar, and by the end, there was nothing that stopped me. I signed up immediately. But I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. I thought it would be another program. I said, I need to start somewhere. I need to take action. And then it's up to me to take the work and keep it going. Let's give this a shot. It just sounds good. It sounds right. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. So having now experienced this LMA experience, and by the way, for those of you watching the video, Joseph ended up winning the ultimate prize as well, which was the luxury treat happening at the end of the year. So having now experienced all of this, Joseph, what would you say has been the biggest benefit for yourself?
One is that I have a new lease on life. But it's not a lease on life that is based on what you were talking about, that high that you get after spending a weekend in a seminar. The most recent one I did is Landmark Forum. I don't know if you've heard of that, which is very big in the US and maybe around the world. And I learned a lot from there. And the one hang up that I went to resolve over there, I resolved. But the high and the continuation of what they had in place after just did not resonate with me. It's not what I was looking for. Having gone through this experience and feeling how I feel, it's almost like I'm taking responsibility now for the leadership role that I never knew I had in me, that I have now been, that you have brought out of me through this program. And I feel that the impact that you've made on me and the impact that I'm making on other people and other people are making on me through this community, I have a sense of responsibility both to myself and to the community to continue that going strong. Because if that impact is so great, it cannot stay caged. It has to be spread. And if you want to impact 1 billion people, I want to be a part of that. I want to do my part in paying it forward.
Definitely. And it only happened with leaders like yourself. So really appreciate it. I mean, Joseph has been sending me an amazing message, by the way, just before this meeting, for those of you tuning in. There's a reason why he won the grand prize, to say the least. So Joseph, what would you say out of the things we provide as tools on board LMA? So for example, the mentorship, the community, and other bits of support from the team and so forth. what did you like the most out of everything we provide, and why?
I would say the number one thing is you over-delivered. I had expectations. When I work with someone, I have very high expectations. Not just in terms of what they are providing me for what I'm paying, but in terms of their commitment to give me their best. Is again, doing your best, always doing your best is a mantra of mine. So I may not be happy doing something, but if I committed to it, it's 100% or not at all. It's just the way that I believe in doing things, right? Like you say, how you do anything is how you do everything. What you delivered was way beyond my expectations. Your continued brilliance in improving on the program, and I'm not saying that just to compliment you, you are brilliant, Tim. And Alice is the most incredible ambassador of the community that I could have ever imagined. Her commitment to us, to encouraging everybody, to reading, to listening to every live, to sending out messages, to day and night be on her game, to continue to contribute, to be there, to answer questions, is just above and beyond. So your integrity is extremely attractive because I took a chance on you, I expected a lot, and you blew my mind in how you over-delivered. And you're continuing to do that. That's, if I had to say anything about this experience, is that anyone who's on a fence about a program, and I've taken many, they all delivered, they all gave their best, but no one completely blew my mind like you guys did.
What specifically was over-delivered for you? I'm very curious to know.
Everything you said you would do, you did. And at the end of every masterclass, the masterclasses were 2 hours, and you had another class to go to. And you said, okay, if I over-deliver right now. And every week you did. You gave us more. If we wanted more, you gave us more. When you come on a Q&A session, you say, this will be as long or as short as you want it to be. So you are there for us for as long as we need you to be there for us. Now, there's obviously a benefit to you as well in the fact that if you come across a great community and you come across people who have expectations, then you raise your game. And it helps you too. So a big belief of mine in anything I do is that it's got to be a win-win. Everyone has to benefit in order for everybody to grow and everybody to want to continue to give. You personify that, and that resonates with me. But you don't just do it because it helps you and because it puts money in your pocket. Because personally, I think that the value you provide is priceless. Priceless. You give so much for what we pay to participate in this program. And because you continue to give more, you don't promise the things you give above and beyond. You just give them. And so we are all driven to do the same thing. And you can see that in the involvement and the interaction in the community. The changes are just popping all over the place. And that, I'm addicted to that.
Definitely. I really appreciate your kind words, Joseph. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting this. I mean, you've been stepping up as a leader, and I think you've been a massive part of the fact that everyone's been stepping up as well. So, like you say, it is a community effort, in terms of everyone grows together. There's a great saying in terms of how you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And that's something that we've always encouraged on board LMA. And the only reason why that happens firstly is because leaders within the group begins to step up and set examples, right? We never run as fast as we can. We run as fast as everyone else. And you ran the fastest. so that's really what it's all about, I believe. What do you believe, final two questions, what surprised you firstly the most about LMA? Because you, I suppose, didn't know what to expect. So what surprised you the most?
I would say that the community, people from all over the world are tuning in. And how, like I lived in New York for 30 years and they all talk about New York is a melting pot, right? But it is a melting pot that operates on blind momentum and the energies, the stress. That's the energy that keeps moving things. And it's really not that much of a melting pot. It doesn't work as well as people think it does. It's a great mantra for New Yorkers, but it doesn't really work that way when you live there. LMA community is an example of what a melting pot should be. No one cares where you come from. No one cares your race, political affiliation, sexual orientation. Nobody cares. If you have something good to say, people will listen. If you share and you give of yourself, people will respond and give back. If you fail, it's okay. You don't have to pretend. And if you succeed, you have a community that roots for you. And where you're from doesn't matter. Yes, you tend to gravitate towards certain people more than others within the community, and that's normal. But the fact of the matter is that look at the people you gravitate to. They're from all over the place. Look at Miyako from Japan, favorite. Noki from Phuket, favorite. Alex V from Birmingham or Wolverhampton, favorite. Silvio, Romanian, lives in England, right? Alex in Germany and Christian, and they're all over and you just gravitate and they all give, and they're Sabrine, powerhouse. I can't imagine the limitations she's dealing with in terms of her ability to do some of the things we can do. But she is in there and she gives and she steps up and she gives everything she can. And that's just one after another. You can keep naming them. And that energy, there's no stress. It's momentum through passion, through everybody looking for one thing and one thing only, and that's to become the best version of themselves, whatever that is. And nobody judges you for what that is, but everybody wants to help you get there. So that, I've never found that anywhere.
Okay. The final question is, imagine right now, actually you don't have to imagine, this is just reality for most people, including myself, whenever, even still to this day, if I want to invest, especially if it's a new coach, whatever it may be, I do have some doubts sometimes. It's just natural for our brain to have some doubts or skepticism. So imagine right now, somebody is kind of sat on the edge and they're contemplating whether or not they should or shouldn't do it. Maybe they're currently watching this on the webinar or they're on the page where we talk about LMA. What advice would you have to that person currently on the edge and not sure whether or not they should or shouldn't join?
Okay. And I'm going to be as blunt and as forthcoming as can be, okay? And I don't care if I create polarity, and you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Unless you are willing to do the work, don't do this. If you're looking for a magic pill to just go on a seminar and change your life, don't do this. But if you are really open and you are really willing to say enough is enough, the transformation I want to make It's time. I will do whatever it takes. No excuses. And by the way, in case if anybody is wondering if we're doing anything illegal, absolutely not. So don't worry about that. But if you really are willing to step up and do what it takes to do the work and continue and make it a way of life, there is absolutely nothing that I've come across in 25 years in self-development that even comes close to what we get here. And whatever I paid for it, for me, it's as if it was free. This is priceless. Only if you're willing to do the work.
Joseph, just want to say you've been an absolute star throughout the whole experience. So I really appreciate you. Really appreciate the fact that you took action. You got given the tools, but you actually used the tools and you made the most of it. And that's really where the magic happens. And so firstly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for playing full out. And for those of you watching the video, just want to say thank you so much for checking out today's video. And as always, follow your heart and take action. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care.